Good morning.
Good morning.
It is so the morning.
It's very morning. Yes.
I had to set an alarm to make sure I made this, and I hated you a little bit when it went off.
I'm sorry. When do you normally sleep until?
It's not that I normally sleep later than this. It's just that I got like really bad sleep last night, and so like normally I'd be like, screw it, I'll sleep an extra hour or whatever. And then it was like, no, I have a podcast.
Yeah. My apologies. I think I like these morning things though. I mean, this is kind of my freshest time of day in a sense, when like caffeine first courses through my veins and get my first like bit of creative inspiration. That's when I jump on the mic. I don't know. I think it works for me.
Yeah. I think it's actually probably normally a reasonable time to record. I will do my best.
Yeah.
So I wrote this tweet yesterday.
Yeah, it went viral.
And it was funny. As I was writing it, like once I had like finished it, and like as I hit tweet, I was like, I think this one's going to be popular. I just had this sense.
Just felt it.
I almost announced it, but I was like, I think this is a good one. It's blown up, which is cool. That's fun. It's like a fun little dopamine adventure to go on.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, your mentions are probably completely trashed right now.
Yeah, it was at 375,000 impressions when I looked at it before this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Has it driven any sales?
Yeah, I don't know. We did get actually a bunch of trial signups yesterday, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
I do need to set up better tracking for that, like to find out like are people starting trials after coming from Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
I think I can back that out, but I'm not sure I have that set up very
Put that in like the PR stunts category. Just
exactly.
There's your new marketing play. Just create viral
popular tweets. Yeah.
Yeah.
My guess is that probably no, it did not do that much, but that's fine.
Yeah. Awareness, at least.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly. I wrote this tweet. This tweet was about was me kind of grousing about the enterprise sales process, and I wrote it because I'm in that process again. I'm in this interesting philosophical position once more, which is talking to a very large company who maybe would give us a lot of money, but they want to write into the contract we would sign with them a ton of requirements. Like we're going to agree to like conduct an annual training on social engineering.
What? Why?
Yeah. To make sure we don't get hacked by a social engineering.
Oh my gosh.
And there's 3 or 4 things like that. They're like, you agree to annually or quarterly do these things. So it's not even just like we're going to satisfy these requirements once. It's like you're committing to do this as long as we are your customer.
This is why big companies can't have nice things. You know?
Kind of, yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out do we say yes to this? And if we do, I think the way we say yes is we can put this in the agreement if we put this number in it. And just name a number that's so huge that we're like, well, if they say yes to this, I guess we'll do the social engineering training.
I know you've done this a little bit in the past, but with this one, have you pushed back and said no, these are our precautions. This is what we do to make sure that we're staying secure, and this is all we're going to do. Deal with it.
I have done that sometimes. It works okay. This particular company came to us 6 months ago or something, and we're saying similar things, and we were kind of yeah, no, we're probably not going to do this. And they're like, okay. And they just kind of couldn't buy it. They sent us a list, which is this is the increased security requirements document. And there's 50 things on it. And so it may be that we could say we're not going to do items, these ones, and still get it through. A blanket no, I think is not going to work. So some of them are good. We probably should write up a disaster recovery policy. That's sure. And that's a one-time investment mostly. But some of them would definitely be pretty annoying.
Man, it's tough. I mean, it's interesting that you're having to deal with so much of this so early on, but I guess it speaks to the pent-up demand for your product across the whole spectrum of businesses, right? Because a lot of times early on, you just kind of attract kind of the early adopter, small companies that move fast and don't care about all the red tape. But man, you're seeming to be just running into a pile of red tape everywhere. And I guess it's probably a good problem to have that
I mean, mostly not. Most people just buy the app and then they try it and they like it. It's only these much larger or it's mostly these bigger companies. It definitely is a nice problem to have. It's great. It's it's wonderful. And also to have the freedom and the there is enough other growth that we could just say no to this company and not feel like we're being totally stupid.
Is there something particularly holding you back from just taking a hard line and saying nope, not going to do that? Are you trying to figure out, are we the type of company that services these types of requests, or like what's your thought process around that? Like,
yeah, I guess so. Like, is it a deeper philosophical question? Maybe like that might need to be like a thing that we decide, I guess, or like sort of continually reevaluate. I feel like we have sort of already decided like, yeah, we're not going to mess around with this. But then it's like, well, this person is sort of implying, or like has said, not that I think he has the power to, but like, we were considering this as like the standard solution. So it's like, okay, well, so like how many hundreds or thousands of seats do you need? It could just be like kind of a ridiculous number potentially. But it does kind of create this weird situation where it's like, all right, the person I'm talking to is like a senior engineering manager. And so this person probably wants to use it with their team of 30 or something. For me to come back with a contract that's like, yes, we're starting at 6 figures, just so you know, is a little bit like, wow, but like my team, it's like, yeah, I know, sorry, but like these things that we would have to agree to, like I basically you have to pay us as if you're giving it to everyone kind of, or to make it worth our time.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you considered consulting at all with like an enterprise salesperson who could maybe, because
I have been doing a little bit of that.
I know a guy good friend of mine he doesn't do like hardcore enterprise sales, but he's kind of adjacent to that. The stories I hear from him are pretty crazy about just the game of chess involved with getting the right players in the room and making sure you're, I don't know, just like getting into the right avenues in an organization. And it sounds really complicated and way above my skill set,
Yep. Yeah. I've been chatting with Matt Wensing, who's done a lot of this like enterprise sales at Risk Pulse. And he's super helpful in this regard. And yes, it is very much a chess game. Like there's a lot to it basically. And so I guess one of my concerns is like, this is not like a casual thing. You can just be like, yeah, and also we'll do enterprise sales on the side. Right. It's kind of like, no, like you need a CRM and you need to have like a process and stuff, I think.
Well, because I think what could end up happening is you find yourself, 6 months deep on like, all right, we're doing the PDFs, we're faxing in the things, we're doing that whole thing with procurement, and then like out of nowhere, another stakeholder pops into the equation and just like blocks everything, and like you may find yourself, I mean, it is a little bit of risk, I guess, in like going down a path, investing the time and effort in hopes of getting this big chunk of revenue. I would be concerned about like missing some chess piece and then the whole thing blowing up,
Sure. Yeah. I think that's very possible. And I've seen these deals, they always seem like they're about to close. So far it's like, oh, they really seem like they really want it. And like, we're just like one step away and they've told me the next thing. And like, still it's like, 6 weeks later and it hasn't finished. It's like, okay, yeah. Wow.
A little bit like selling a company.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the simple thing to do is just be like, yeah, we're not going to mess with that. Like, we're doing fine without this. Let's not worry about it. Maybe if I did put like the biggest number I could think of on there that I wouldn't laugh out loud when I did, maybe they'd say yes to it. And like, it might be worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nice thing is this company seems to be okay with like this idea of we're going to put these requirements in the agreement and then you're required to satisfy them. But like also in the agreement will be the price. So we're not going to have you do all this upfront work and then discover like, oh, actually, JK, we don't want to pay that.
Have you gotten any of these larger companies to like agree to pay for a proof of concept? Like, we'll do this for a few months. You pay me, whatever, 20 grand, whatever, some meaningful chunk of money for them to like test it out. And then also that, I guess, gives you a little bit of upfront cash to offset the time and energy spent on all the other requirements.
I haven't tried that yet. We did something kind of like that once. That could work, I think. Yeah, there's this whole playbook of what you do when you're selling to large enterprises that I don't really know the moves in it. So.
Yeah. Oh, me neither.
I get that like there probably are good reasons for a lot of these things, but man, it just feels like so much friction in the system.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like probably net benefit being gained here. It's probably just cost for everyone involved.
This is traditional business, isn't it? This is why there's layers and layers of middle management and paper shuffling. It's frustrating.
I'm happy for this company to sign up at our normal plan and like not sign anything and not do any back and forth and like pay us less money. I'm fine with that. But like they're like, no, we're going to make it really annoying. And I'm like, well, I'm going to charge you a lot. And they're like, yep, that's how it goes. It's like, but like you could just not make it annoying. They're like, no, we have to make it annoying. Oh, okay.
That's so funny.
Another thing is, so we're still working on the scaling stuff. Made some good progress the other day. We discovered something that we were doing that was wrong. So we don't know if we like fully solved it, but we did at least kind of uncover something, which is we had been upgrading our Heroku dynos, like much bigger boxes. but we had not been scaling up like the number of workers, like the number of processes on them.
Okay. Yeah.
So we had like 2 Ruby processes running on like an enormous beefy box. And we're like, why isn't it getting better?
Yeah.
And like part of our problem seems to be how many action cable connections you can have going to a single instance. And so like spreading out to more app instances helps a lot, it seems. So that was like kind of like a big find that seems to have hopefully maybe fixed it.
That intuitively makes sense because in my experience scaling Ruby applications, it was very much a game of more processes, not more fake threads in Ruby. Because true parallelism in Ruby is basically not a thing, So, yeah, that seems intuitively like you're on the right path.
Cool. Yeah. Seems good. And we also have been doing some things like shipping some stuff to like make the load from the client lower. Like just like, oh, we can ping this endpoint less frequently, or we can, we're actually not really using this, so let's stop making this request, that kind of thing. So we're like kind of tidying the house a bit. And had a nice experience where I emailed everybody, all the customers, and said, hey, just so you know, we know about these issues that are happening. We're on it. In case you're curious, we think it's this, and we've been doing this to resolve it. And the response was super positive, which is really cool. Like a lot of support came from people. Like people even asked like literal support, being like, hey, if you want, I've done a lot of Ruby scaling. Let me know if you want help, which is awesome. But also like people really responded positively to the detail. Like they liked being told like what the problem was and what we thought we're doing to fix it. And like they're like, oh, this is so cool. I love hearing about this stuff.
Yeah. No, that's really good. It's I think that's a solid lesson that can be learned from, I feel like it was Salesforce maybe in their early days, like suffered a ton of scaling challenges. And their initial approach, I think, was to be cagey about it, I think, and like not be fully transparent, try to kind of paper over things like, yeah, we're figuring it out. And then I think they made kind of a shift towards radical transparency and like, yep, here's all the, like, we realize we're failing right now in these certain areas and it's obviously not that bad for you. But like they were under some serious scaling problems and they decided to kind of just go all in on like full transparency. We'll give you, metrics that are clearly like failing the threshold that's acceptable, and we're working on fixing them. That just totally flipped the perception of their customers. And like, even though they were clearly like not living up to what they sold to people, they were like, this is our top priority and we're working on it. And people were generally understanding, even for
I believe that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's such a strong impulse for some reason to like adopt this like really weird corporate speak when you talk on behalf of a company. It does not feel genuine and like doesn't share details and is like just this kind of like weird false kind of front. And I feel like the more that we lean into the opposite direction, the better it goes.
Yeah. Because I mean, it makes sense. Like if someone's being very corporate-y or formal, like you start to lose trust, right? You suspect that they're not telling you the whole story. And then when you lose trust in the provider, then like people don't give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you've been clearly like sharing all the details and being very upfront, it's like that trust is built, which is worth something.
Yeah. And I've said this a million times, but like I do feel like our smallness is a strength. Like them knowing it's us, the 3 co-founders working on it, and like, hey, we're developers too, and you're a developer, so I'm going to share some technical details, and you're probably going to geek out on a little bit because it's interesting. That's just a great thing about this particular business and time of our development. So yeah, I think that's it for me. What's going on with you?
Very cool. I just had a cool experience in I think it's anechoic chamber. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of them, yeah.
So a friend of mine just like randomly, I heard about this place in Minneapolis. It's like previously like a recording studio that was pretty big in the 70s. Like Prince spent some time there. Bob Dylan recorded Blood on the Tracks there. Like some big names coming through this place. But then I think the studio eventually shut down and then got bought by this laboratory. And this guy seems kind of eccentric who owns it had just like off the cuff randomly one day purchased an anechoic chamber from some big company in Chicago that was like getting rid of it. So for those who don't know, it's basically a chamber where there's almost no sound. They can like measure it. So this one clocks in at like -9 decibels or something. So, and 0 decibels is kind of the threshold of human perception of sound. So anyways, like they just kind of give tours of their facility and then let you sit in the chamber for 20 minutes and kind of experience that.
So what was it like?
It was pretty wild. I think So there were two senses deprived in there. One was hearing, obviously, like no sound. And the other was like they turn off the lights and it's literally the darkest room I've ever been in. There's like no light creeping in at all. So it's a weird sensation to close your eyes, open your eyes, and it'd be exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So, 20 minutes, I think they say like around 45 minutes is the point where you really like your senses start to like give up on pulling in any external data and start kind of making stuff up. So it's people will sometimes hallucinate in these chambers or, start to just like hear phantom noises that aren't real. I didn't experience any of that, but it was strange, like sitting there and I could just feel my ears like trying to hear anything, like even like ear hairs moving inside of my ear canal. Like, is there any sound? Is there any sound? It's pretty wild.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like kind of my dream space is an extremely quiet room.
Yeah. I think there is such thing as too quiet. Yeah, people generally, after spending enough time in these things, get very uncomfortable. But I was just more geeking out on it. Like, I don't know. I'm just curious what are my eyes and ears going to do? And when you're in that much darkness, things almost start to appear very bright. Like you start seeing purple, like a purple green haze, and then like a kind of the thing with the globs of gel in them. Lava lamp, like a lava lamp.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, that type of thing. So anyways, that was just an anecdote completely unrelated to business, but fun thing I did. Let's see. On the business front, I've been working on kind of API design for the payments plugin for StaticKit. It's a lot of complexity to figure out how to manage well. So
you're kidding.
I've been trying. Yeah. Unsurprising, right? Especially with the strong customer authentication stuff, the European regulations, which I think, that's kind of the direction that Stripe is moving for all of their APIs. Like their regular charges API is not officially deprecated, but they're basically like, don't use this anymore. So yeah, I mean, I've been kind of diving into that complexity and like playing around with what the API could look like and how can I make it elegant. And that is kind of one of the tricky parts of this is like you can't really rush good API design. You kind of have to, since you're merging a lot of different requirements and I'm trying to think about like, how can I start with something simple, but not lock myself into inflexibility where I would have to like immediately deprecate my own API or my own library to support more powerful use cases in the future. There's a lot of like stuff to try to foresee, but also not like implement out of the gate and just kind of leave room for that. Slogging through that, and I've decided to have like kind of a background thread task going as I'm working through that. So spend a little bit of time on that, and then kind of work on another secondary project that I've been wanting to work on.
On the first thing, do you have techniques or like a strategy for getting yourself in the right mind space for that kind of design?
So far what I've been doing is I've been starting with Stripe's docs, and they have a lot of good like different ways of explaining how pieces work together. So they have some guides on like, this is high level how strong customer authentication works and how these payment flows work. And so generally I will kind of skim through that to get my mind back in the place of like, okay, this is the basic workflow that I have to support. And then I'll generally dive into the lower level documentation around like, okay, what are the types of fields that I need to support, and kind of writing out as best I can, what are the different use cases that people, or what are the basic payment flows that people have, one-off charges plus upsells, subscriptions plus one-time charges, installment payments, and kind of write all these things out. So I do a lot of like whiteboarding or scratching down in my notebook and trying to like see where do these use cases overlap and what things can, seem unique, but then can kind of reduce down into shared concepts. And luckily, like Stripe's API, they've done a lot of that work in crafting their own API. You're not always that lucky when you're dealing with external providers. A lot of times you have to figure out how to tame that complexity. And fortunately, Stripe has done a lot of that work. So I can it's going to be an easier mapping to their API than maybe some other cases, just because they're really thoughtful. So yeah, that's kind of my process. Then I just kind of start writing down like in a code editor, proposed ways to configure this, and like, how does this feel? Like I want the configuration to feel intuitive. I don't want it to be too verbose. So like, what conventions and defaults can I bake in so that, Ideally, you just have to provide like a few pieces of configuration, and the defaults are really make a lot of sense. And then when things get more complex, how can I still make the configuration manageable? It's a lot of just kind of playing around with JSON and how it feels and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Deciding like, is this going to be a single thing or an array? I feel like it's a big part of that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Right. I've been bitten by that enough in the past of more in database design than configuration design, but like, oh, this should have been a one-to-many.
Classic.
Yep. It's been a good exercise. I still hope to kind of have something built in the month of December around payments. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you got some time, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of time.
Cool.
Yeah, and so then the background task I've been working on, I wanted to do this for a little while, and I feel like not too big of a task now that my user interface has been simplified quite a bit when I moved to the config file. But basically, I want to get most of the interface moved over into my Next.js application, which is kind of powers the marketing site right now and the docs site. So I don't know if you've noticed, like Stripe is a big inspiration for this, but when you go into their docs, it's like they're aware of who you are, what account you're logged in under, and they will embed stuff right into their docs that show you like, here's sample code. You can literally run this and it's wired up to your account. And so that's kind of what I'm going for. I've been thinking about that. And then I'm like, now that my user interface is pretty much just like a read-only view of the state of the world for your account, this is not that difficult to get moved over. It's not like a bunch of CRUD operations that I have to re-implement. That would take a bit more time. So I've been experimenting with that. And I do want to like call out this technology that I kind of stumbled into as I got into static sites and some of the newer technologies. But like, so Next.js, they're kind of this is not even a term that I was really aware of, but like isomorphic JavaScript or universal JavaScript. It's to me like a really great blend of a single page application where you have a lot of stuff powered by front end JavaScript and page transitions are super fast and snappy, but also like takes care of all the downsides of a single page application. So like when you hit a page on initial load and it requires you to load data, like it'll do it server side for you. It'll behave like a server rendered application on initial page load, and then subsequent page loads will be client side rendered. And there's basically no additional work on your behalf to make that happen. It just knows how to do it. So like when you compile a Next.js application, it will say like, oh, this page, we've detected that you require initial data for this. So when you deploy it, we will like basically turn this into a Lambda function that will do some server stuff and spit out a server rendered HTML page for you. It's pretty cool. Like I've always been very leery of single page applications, and I've seen people implement marketing sites before using like all Angular, and you load them and it's just like loading spinners everywhere, and it just is terrible, And so the fact that this is like this is kind of the best of both worlds is pretty amazing, and like kind of snuck up on me as like a front end technology that I was not really aware was a thing until I started playing with it. So
nice. Well, that's cool. I'm still a little bearish on a lot of client side JavaScript personally.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah. I was using a pretty complicated JavaScript app, and it's just like, oh, there's a little bug. Oh, there's another little bug. Oh, there's another little bug. And like, this is like the company that was doing it well. Like overall, it was a great product, but it was just like, I just see like lots of little state things, especially when I'm using like an app with a lot of that.
Yeah. It's so hard to do right. I think one of the things and I kind of took a similar approach with Level too, was like, I'm going to err on the side of treating my pages like they're just regular server rendered pages. So I think a lot of the trouble comes in when people try to share too much state between pages and reuse stuff in the name of performance. The reason why server rendered applications are so reliable in one sense is because you're constantly throwing away state and regenerating it on page load, right? Like the server sending down fresh HTML with fresh state every single time you change page, right? You can definitely accomplish the same thing with a client rendered application. You're not going to get all the performance gains that are possible by like retaining state on the front end and sharing it between pages, but that's something that you can work towards very carefully. And I feel like that's where people get into trouble, is when they start just aggressively doing that out of the gate, and then things start to get a little hairy. So
state is always the problem. Like state is the source of so much complexity, I feel like, in programming. Like, and you can tell because you can solve so many problems with software by restarting them. It's
Yes.
that means it was a state problem. And that
Exactly.
means, yeah.
Totally.
So
Yep.
careful. Watch out for that state. That's the
Yeah.
dangerous part.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. This is kind of like my job in like getting to know my ecosystem well and the people I'm selling to is like constantly learning some of the newer technologies, even though I would tend to, I'm still like a monolith guy. Like I like server rendered applications. So I kind of straddle both camps, but I also feel like, it's an important part of my getting to know my customer base well is like learning the technologies that they're excited about. And
for sure. Yeah, it definitely seems like you should be deep in this world.
Yep. And to that end, actually, relatedly, I, a couple of weeks ago, was pleased to be invited to present at Zeit's conference called Backendless Conf. So I talked to them in the last week, like, what do you think it should be? And we got on the subject of potentially doing an Art of Product special recording for the conference.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be an adventure.
It's going to be an adventure. So that'll be on December 14th. And actually, after the show, you and I can talk more details. But
is it?
Yeah. Yes. And I think the official schedule will be out soon. But check it out, backendlessconf.com. And Ben and I will be there. So it should be a good time.
Should we troll them by just talking about backends the whole time?
That's a great idea.
I've written a lot of them. Our app is called Backend, actually.
Here's why you should consider using a Rails monolith for your next project.
Mm-hmm. I will race you to developing an app.
Very funny.
Mm-hmm. JK, no, great. Front ends, amazing. Everything should be in JavaScript.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And congrats, by the way. It means you're making some waves in that world. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. I was.
That's a good sign.
I was very thrilled to be included on the lineup. Seems to be a really good set of people from the industry alongside me. So
nice.
It's pretty awesome.
Cool. Anything else going on?
No, I think that's it for me.
Cool. Let's wrap it then.
Let's do it.
Notes of the show.
Notes of the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.